from Ghana.
I'm from Sierra Leone.
Je viens du Tchad, du Sénégal. Peru.
Pour une fois, j'aimerais lever mon verre à ceux qui n'en ont pas.
Keep it going, keep it going. You deserve a round of applause. So you are all very, very welcome. You are all very, very welcome to the youth segment of this closing plenary. If you haven't found a seat as yet, I encourage you to please take your seat and get comfortable for this youth segment. We are going to have a fantastic time of unpacking the pertinent outcomes that young people have derived. And without further ado, I'd like to invite the young leaders who have contributed immensely to some of these outcomes to join me on stage. So young leaders, please join me. As we welcome them, please let's give us a round of applause. In Africa, we have a chant. So I say, Viva young people, and you say, Viva. Viva young people. Viva young people. I can't hear you. Viva young people. There we go. Keep the applause going, please, for our young leaders.
Encore une fois, j'aimerais lever mon verre à ceux qui n'en ont pas. À ceux qui n'en ont pas.
Viva young people. Viva young people.
À ceux qui n'en ont pas.
That fantastic? Without any further ado, I would like to invite our youth representative from West Africa to appreciate the brilliant artwork and to provide us with a short word of welcome.
Encore une fois, j'aimerais lever mon verre à ceux qui n'en ont pas.
Hello, everyone. Hello, young people. My name is Esinam Amuzu from Ghana. But on behalf of all the beautiful countries that form the West and Central Africa region of UNFPA, thank you for coming to Benin. Thank you for speaking these 2 days. Thank you for listening. And now, on behalf of all of us here, on behalf of all the 1.9 billion young people scattered all across the globe, this is what we are saying. This is what young people want. Listen to us.
Hola, bonjour, mabuhay. I'm Shabana Alcacir from the Philippines, representing the Asia-Pacific region. As young voices from every corner of the globe, we gather here at the Global Youth Dialogue to address pressing issues that affect us all. In a world where the voices of the young are often drowned out by the noise of older generations, the Global Youth Dialogue stands as a beacon of hope. We, the young delegates at the Global Youth Dialogue, are motivated and eager to see our recommendations turned into action. Throughout our dialogue, 5 key outcomes have emerged, reflecting our collective urgency for change. Looking at our government representatives here today, we hope that you bring these recommendations and hold them in your hearts and in your minds from here on. The first outcome concerns my body, my life, sexual and reproductive health and rights and well-being. We call on our member states to ensure age of consent laws do not deprive access to SRH services and information. Craft and uphold legal frameworks to counter GBV and harmful practices. Include youth center inclusive SRH services within universal health coverage programs, including hard-to-reach areas and countries in crisis. Eliminate all legal, structural, financial, and systemic barriers, including out-of-pocket expenditures, third-party consent criminalization of abortion, and barriers to domestic production.
Uranga Caruca, Maita Yacendú. Soy joven, indígena yeral de la Amazonía venezolana. Y hoy estoy frente a ustedes representando la región que me vio nacer, América Latina y el Caribe. Aquí, en el Diálogo Mundial de las Juventudes, no somos únicamente participantes. Todos y cada uno de nosotros somos arquitectos de nuestro propio destino. Guiados por el sentido de urgencia y un profundo deseo de visualizar la realidad y a partir de un cambio tangible en nuestras comunidades y nuestros territorios. El segundo eje temático, protegiendo los derechos humanos y avanzar en la igualdad de género para las juventudes en toda su diversidad, reconocemos que la igualdad de género es el núcleo de los derechos humanos y del desarrollo sostenible. Mantener el status quo no es una opción. Recomendamos a los Estados miembros de las Naciones Unidas y a las partes interesadas que tomen medidas más efectivas y fuertes para detener la interferencia de los movimientos antiderechos y antigénero a través de mecanismos de derechos humanos y en espacios multilaterales. Adopten programas e iniciativas afirmativas en educación, protección social y justicia que incluyan un enfoque basado en los derechos humanos y la igualdad de género para abordar la discriminación interseccional. Aseguren de adoptar políticas y prácticas que promuevan la justicia sexual y reproductiva y que permitan la participación política de las juventudes en los procesos políticos. Solicitamos la protección de las juventudes defensoras de los derechos humanos. Aumenten la inversión en el fortalecimiento de las capacidades de las juventudes y los grupos históricamente marginalizados para participar en el desarrollo sostenible y los marcos de derechos humanos. Hacemos un llamado a todos los Estados miembros de las Naciones Unidas, organismos de la ONU, donantes, sociedad civil, movimientos sociales y comunidades para que protejan los derechos humanos de las adolescentes y eliminen las prácticas nocivas y la violencia de género, incluida la violencia de género facilitada por la tecnología. Y por último, instamos a los líderes y comunidades a adoptar marcos normativos basados en los derechos humanos para prevenir la discriminación, los estereotipos, la opresión y la violencia sistemática contra las juventudes.
My dear friends, my dear colleagues, thank you so much for this 2 days conference. My name is Anura Rusten, and I am from Norway, and I'm representing Europe and Central Asia. This Global Youth Dialogue is just not another conference. It is a rallying cry for action. In a world that often underestimates our power, the power of youth, The Global Youth Dialogue serves as a powerful reminder of our immense potential and that education can liberate. The third outcome concerns transforming education, transforming lives, expanding opportunities for young people, and now we call member states to do the following. Ensure compulsory free education for all adolescents and youth, including in remote areas, and subsidizing education for all marginalized groups. Ensure the universal provision of comprehensive sexuality education in and out of schools, ensuring it is culturally and age relevant. Transform education systems to address systematic gender inequalities in school and wider societies, and also insist on men and boys being part of this transformation. Recognize and invest in non-formal education programs and organizations, particularly those that are youth-led. We must also establish funds and microloans to support skill building and projects that empower youth economically. And finally, we also have to integrate mental health awareness into education. Thank you so much.
Distinguished guests, UNFPA, my fellow youth, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'm Kolimomba Mungu James, a refugee from Democratic Republic of Congo and currently residing in Uganda. And now leading the Association of Refugees with Disability, with a profound gratitude for the opportunity to represent the East African region. And amidst my fellow young leaders, I have felt empowered to contribute my ideas and insight towards creating a more equitable and sustainable future. The fourth outcome concerns adapting, thriving, and inspiring, crafting resilient futures in the world in crisis. We call on international leaders to implement global commitments already made, including youth, peace, and security, and women, peace, and security agendas, and to ensure funding for these agendas, as well as local-led climate justice initiative and humanitarian response. Member states to take decisive action to combat climate change and migration, urgently implementing prevention and reparation measures for youth living in polluted and contaminated areas. Countries to implement global compact for migration. We encourage the depoliticization of migration issues and facilitate regular, safe, and legal migration pathways, and to legally recognize protection for young migrants and refugees. Lastly, we call upon the international community to condemn attacks and criminalization of young environmental, land, and human rights defenders. Thank you, God bless.
Hello, everyone. My name is Yassine from Tunisia, and I'm representing the Arab states. I may lost my voice today, but I lost it because I'm asking you to build a peaceful world. I asked everyone to participate with us for the liberation of Palestine. Yes, I lost my voice, but I'm not alone. We are the youth of the world. We stayed united in our call for change. We are impatient to see these demands met, especially as we are 1.9 billion young people. We are young, but we also call on member states and stakeholders to ensure inclusivity in international decision-making processes, implement regional protocols and consensus, integrating them significantly into monitoring the ICPD Program of Action commitments. Prioritize the collection and dissemination of quality, timely, open-sourced, and high-quality disaggregated data on population and its RHR. Embrace a sexual and reproductive rights and justice framework. Offer flexible and sustainable funding to adolescent and youth-led groups for grassroots movement building and cross-regional learning among communities, and hold office bearers accountable. The Global Youth Dialogue has spoken. Now it's time for action.
And there you have it, the Cotonou Youth Action Agenda, formally presented. A round of applause to all of you who've contributed so graciously and so enthusiastically to these outcomes. I would invite our band and our esteemed young leaders to bang on the drum for rights, for choices, and for dignity. Say it with me, rights. Rights, I can't hear you, rights. Choices, dignity, rights, choices, dignity. We also are really privileged to have a great cohort of allies and partners in the room. And without further ado, I'd like to welcome them to the stage. Sophie Larsen, the Youth Ambassador of Denmark, please join us up on stage. Continue drumming, continue the momentum. Sarah Bagat, the Youth Ambassador for SRHR of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, please join us up on stage. Professor Fatou Ser, the Commissioner for Human Development and Social Affairs of ECOWAS, please ma'am, join us on stage. And last but not least, Mr. Philippe Pellier, the Assistant Secretary General on Youth. A round of applause. Let's keep it going. Rights, rights, choices, dignity, rights, choices, dignity. Viva young people, viva! I would now like to symbolically invite our young leaders to pass on the drums to our esteemed panelists who will hopefully commit to taking on this mantle of the drumbeat for rights, choices, and dignity. Let's go, keep it going, keep it going. Free to get up and move a bit. Rights, rights, choices, dignity, rights, choices, dignity, rights, choices, dignity. Viva young people, viva young people. Thank you. Thank you to our young leaders and thank you to our esteemed panelists. You can exit the stage. Thank you to our fantastic drum ensemble. A round of applause. And without further ado, I'd like to now welcome our distinguished guests to provide short words of solidarity towards the Cotonou Action Agenda for Youth and the perspectives of their respective institutions and organizations. Over to you.
Excellencies, advocates, activists, and fellow youth. When we look around today, we see an amazing gathering of people from around the world. We, the youth, are used to creating space on our own, taking up space by ourselves, and establishing space for opportunities and development single-handedly. This time, we didn't have to push so hard. Thank you to UNFPA and the co-host countries for giving us the opportunity to form this dialogue collectively. I've been looking so much forward to this. We did it. The Global Youth Dialogue is a success. Each one of us has experiences, struggles, and visions, but we are not a uniform mass. We are young persons with different needs, wants, and wishes. But for the past 2 days, we have been able to share this with each other and form our shared vision. And in our diversity, we display appreciation, respect, and a greater and stronger united voice. And in our collaboration, we create a global network, and this we're amplifying the impact. In our resilience, we bounce back the challenges and speak up for what we believe. And in our activism, we stand up for marginalized people and for those who are not here in Benin. And as you might have heard once or maybe twice, 30 years ago, the ICPD Program of Action recognized that human rights need to be centered in development. And now more than ever, we must stress the importance of these promises. We were promised a focus on improving family planning services, children and women's health, education, poverty eradication. We were promised a focus on reproductive rights and diversity of families. And we were promised a focus on actions specifically designed for indigenous people, people with disabilities, children, youth, and adolescents. So now, it's time for us to work together and keep these promises, but more importantly, these promises that we made here today in Benin. It's time for us to go back to our countries, back to our local communities, and share what we've learned from each other. It's time for us to stand together, holding decision makers accountable, and push forward for a better world for all. This is our time, and we can make a difference. Thank you.
A louder round of applause for Sophie Lawson. Those were some incredible remarks, and thank you for the continued solidarity from the Kingdom of Denmark towards this progressive agenda. I'd now like to invite Sarah Begat from the Kingdom of the Netherlands to provide words of solidarity.
Wow, what an energy in this room today, guys, and what an energy I have seen these past 2 days. Guys, we have made it to the end of the Global Youth Dialogue. Please, a round of applause for that. I first of all want to thank the governments of Benin, Denmark, and the Netherlands for co-hosting, and UNFPA for organizing this platform in the beautiful city of Cotonou, Benin. My name is Sarah Bagat, and I'm the Dutch Youth Ambassador at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Choice for Youth and Sexuality. That is a youth-led Dutch organization. As a youth ambassador, I get the opportunity to advise the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Netherlands from a youth perspective on sexual and reproductive health and rights, gender equality, and bodily autonomy. While writing this speech, I initially wanted to write that I have the privilege to advise the ministry of my country from a youth perspective. But this shouldn't be a privilege. We are a group of 1.9 billion people. Many young activists who aren't here today deserve their voices to be heard. People from marginalized groups deserve their voices to be heard. These past 2 days, I have witnessed the power and the knowledge that young people hold. Young people know what they want. Young people know what they need. And young people know how they should get this. Over the past 2 days, we have had constructive conversations, finding common grounds, debating, and sometimes also disagreeing. But after having spoken to people from diverse cultures, diverse religions, and different backgrounds, the largest common ground is that we don't get listened to enough. Too often, ideas of young people in all of our diverse communities get overlooked. My call to action is for every country to commit to meaningful and inclusive youth participation. This way, all the young activists in this room, but also beyond, can hold their governments accountable when we are not included in decision-making. I want to end this speech with a conversation yesterday that has stuck with me the most. We spoke about comprehensive sexuality education, about education in general, and about SRHR. In this conversation, we got to the conclusion that our parents cannot give us what they didn't have. The voice of our generation is absolutely necessary. This Global Youth Dialogue is a great start, but the work doesn't stop here. Let us cherish our power and make sure that our recommendations end up not only at the ICPD, but also in our countries, in our communities, and even in our households. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah, for those inspiring remarks and for reminding us that young people know what they want, they know what they need, and they know how to get it. I think those are very poignant points to walk away with. Thank you. I would now like to welcome Madam Commissioner, Professor Fatou Ser, to give us short remarks. Madam Commissioner.
Merci. C'est d'abord dire, c'est vraiment un bonheur d'être ici dans cette salle avec des jeunes pleins d'énergie. Et je voudrais remercier le FNIAP qui nous a donné l'opportunité, en tant que commissaire au développement humain de la CEDEAO, d'être ici. Et de remercier le gouvernement de la République du Bénin pour toutes les commodités mises à notre disposition. Cette rencontre était importante pour nous parce qu'à la CEDEAO, nous avons décidé cette année de tenir les assises de la jeunesse dans les 15 pays de la CEDEAO. Tout à l'heure, j'ai entendu une dire que vous êtes les architectes de votre destin. Vous êtes les architectes du destin de notre continent parce que le futur, c'est vous qui allez le construire. C'est pour cette raison qu'à la CEDEAO, nous avons décidé d'instaurer ce dialogue au niveau des pays, mais sur 3 mois, pour permettre à la jeunesse, entre elles, en tenant compte des spécificités, des différences, de pouvoir dire leurs préoccupations, d'indiquer au gouvernement la voie à suivre. Mais pendant 3 mois, ils seront entre eux, ils parleront, mais ils prolongeront les débats à travers les webinaires, ils prolongeront les débats à travers les radios et les télévisions pour permettre de comprendre quelle est la préoccupation des jeunes, quel est le besoin des jeunes et en quoi, quelle réponse nous devons donner en tant que gouvernement, en tant qu'autorité, en tant que parents. Parce que le problème, c'est d'amener toute la société dans sa globalité, que ce soit les parents, que ce soit les autorités traditionnelles ou religieuses, que ce soit les politiques, mais les jeunes d'abord. Donc, ce formidable mouvement que nous enclenchons à partir du mois de mai dans les différents pays de la CEDEAO, c'est la raison pour laquelle notre présence ici est assez importante pour nous, parce que vous nous inspirez aussi. Au-delà des problématiques et des questions que nous avions soulevées, nous savons désormais, à travers vos groupes qui sont ici, les différents pays qui sont ici, nous avons entendu la diversité des espaces du monde, de l'Amérique latine, de l'Europe du Nord, du Centre, etc., et de l'Afrique. Et c'est pour dire qu'en tout cas, pour les jeunes béninois, sachez que nous allons revenir très bientôt vers vous. Pour les jeunes sénégalais, pour les jeunes des autres pays, je ne vais pas tous les citer et qui sont ici présents, soyez prêts à nous accueillir, à accueillir la CEDEAO dans cette formidable aventure que nous voulons faire avec nous pour qu'en 2050, nous puissions, l'année prochaine plutôt, ce sera les 50 ans de la CEDEAO, en 2025, nous puissions avoir une nouvelle offre pour la jeunesse, pour les politiques et pour le développement de nos États. En tout cas, merci beaucoup à vous et merci au FNIAC.
Thank you, Madam Commissioner, for those words of solidarity and for availing yourself to address us and to be part of this important youth segment. We deeply appreciate your time, your effort, and your energy. Last but not least, I have the privilege of inviting the UN Assistant Secretary General on Youth Affairs, Mr. Philippe Paulier, to address us. Philippe, the floor is yours.
Dear young people, excellencies and authorities that are already and are here with us in this closure, thank you. Thank you for your message. Thank you for your recommendations. And thank you for your beautiful diversity. We should celebrate this diversity and we should push this diversity forward. These days in Benin are an incredible example of what happens when we create meaningful engagement processes in intergovernmental processes. And that's our most important and core mandate in the United Nations Youth Office. So count with our office to push on these recommendations. Count on our office to support UNFPA on its mandate. Count on our office to push for more spaces such as this in the intergovernmental processes. We count on you to push together. If we believe and we want a multilateral system that is responsive to the necessities this world is facing, we need trust in multilateral systems. And meaningful youth engagement is a clear way of building trust. Meaningful youth engagement is about a human right to participate, but it's also about being more effective to address youth issues. And it's also about being part of the decisions, and so being trust in the system. So count with our office. Thank you for these days. Congratulations for your battles, and let's keep pushing. Que vivan las juventudes. Thank you.
Thank you, Felipe, for those incredibly inspiring words. Two main takeaways. Meaningful engagement isn't a favor. It is a clear way of building trust and celebrating diversity and pushing it forward. I think that's the overarching framing of the Cotonou Youth Action Agenda. So a big round of applause for our fantastic and esteemed guests. A huge round of applause to all of you for contributing towards the Cotonou Youth Action Agenda. That's a very lazy applause. I know we're tired, but let's keep up the energy. Thank you very much. Panelists, please return to your seats. And I'd now like to invite moderator for the second segment of the closing plenary, in which the formal formalities will take forward. It's been an honor to moderate this segment, and thank you all.
Sugar. Udo. Cha. Cha. Wait. Wait. So. Wait. Wait. Get there. Wait. Sugar. Huh? Wait. Sugar.
Let's see la so who te do me ba we.
Do, Besaito Edora. Besaito Edora. Besaito Edora. Dora. Dora. The Hogi. Camelada, camelada, no nula, mi bolo su piero, que le wa ki te mato, oh wa, oh wa, oh wa, oh wa, que le wa, que le wa ki te mato, oh tudo, oh dado, oh tudo, tudo, que le down, down. Where are you?
Your clothes, but I quite well, we low, but I know the name.
Yeah, well, who follow Cosway?
I quack my quack, quack, hello, now know the name.
Yeah, well,
how are you?
follow Cosway.
Yeah, well, yeah. Buena belle boy, chope, buena belle boy. Yake, yo go. Chope, o selina belle. Yake, oh yakada. Yake, cha. Ready. Yake, oh lakada. Mana, ejona henu yekele, ejona henu tekele, ejona henu yakaya ero. Maiboa esupere, Maiboa esupere, Azakaka koje taruelo. Maiboa esupere, Kaku koje taruelo. Maiboa esupere, Azakaka koje taruelo. Maiboa esupere, Kaku koje taruelo. Maiboa esupere. Azakaka kujeta nuelo. Maiboa esupere. Kaku kujeta nuelo. Maiboa esupere. Azakaka kujeta nuelo. Maiboa esupere. Kaku kujeta nuelo. Maiboa esupere. Azakaka kujeta nuelo. Maiboa esupere. Kakuko jeta nuwe ba. Aga kakuko jeta nuwe. Kakuko jeta nuwe. Aga kakuko jeta nuwe ba. Kakuko jeta nuwe. Merci. Merci. Le directeur adjoint du cabinet du ministre d'État.
Monsieur le directeur adjoint du cabinet du ministre d'État, ministre du Développement et de la coordination de l'action gouvernementale, Madame la directrice exécutive du Fonds des Nations Unies pour la population, Mesdames et Messieurs les ministres des pays ici représentés, Monsieur le sous-secrétaire général adjoint des Nations Unies aux affaires de la jeunesse, Mesdames et Messieurs les responsables à divers niveaux au sein des organisations sous-régionales et régionales ici présents, Monsieur le sous-secrétaire chargé des politiques de développement au ministère des Affaires étrangères du Royaume de Danemark, Monsieur le directeur du développement social et ambassadeur pour les droits des femmes et l'égalité au ministère des Affaires étrangères du Royaume des Pays-Bas, Mesdames et Messieurs les chefs de délégation étrangères, autorités à divers niveaux du Fonds des Nations Unies pour la population, Mesdames et Messieurs les membres des délégations étrangères, Mesdames et Messieurs les invités spéciaux, Mesdames et Messieurs les hauts fonctionnaires au ministère du Développement et de la coordination de l'action gouvernementale, Mesdames et Messieurs, distingués invités, en vos titres et qualités respectifs, Mesdames et Messieurs. Après 2 jours de travaux, le premier dialogue mondial de la jeunesse s'achève. La présente cérémonie de clôture sera marquée essentiellement par les allocutions de Madame la directrice du FUNIAP et du directeur adjoint du cabinet du ministre du Développement et de la coordination de l'action gouvernementale. Les salutations d'usage et le retrait des personnalités qui se présentent mettront un terme à la dite cérémonie. Mesdames et Messieurs, distingués invités, conformément au programme ainsi annoncé, je voudrais inviter Madame Natalia Kanem, directrice exécutive du FUNIAP, à bien vouloir prendre la parole pour son allocution.
Mr. Deputy Chief of Staff, representing the Minister of Planning and Development, Excellencies, Professor Fatou Sosar, Commissioner ECOWAS, Youth Ambassador Sophie Larsen of Denmark, Youth Ambassador Sarah Bagat of the Netherlands, Estimado Felipe Payer, United Nations Assistant Secretary General for Youth Affairs, distinguished youth delegates of the ICPD Global Youth Dialogue, and young people of the world. What a splendid 2 days this has been. Thank you. I first thank our magnificent host, the government, and the people of Benin. Superb venue. And I also offer our thanks to the dialogue co-sponsors, the Kingdom of Denmark and the Kingdom of Netherlands. Thank you. May I salute you, the more than 500 young people from over 130 countries coming together in solidarity, hearts and minds connecting to chart the way forward. I also salute the tens of thousands of young people who are at home doing the work of youth leadership and youth empowerment right in their communities. Here in Cotonou, youth organizations from all 5 world regions have met. Over months of planning, you shaped this dialogue. Your goal was to lead, and this truly has been a youth-led event. Young people selected participants, designed agenda, and facilitated brilliant sessions, bursting with creativity, with substance, and with a whole lot of passion. I open this dialogue by saying that we are all here to listen, to learn, and to plan what's next. And in your recommendations, we hear you. We hear you loud and clear. Young people want better representation, more voice, more funding, and more clout in the most critical global conversations. UNFPA pledges to work with governments to strengthen mechanisms for youth engagement in policy design and in delivery, in action. Our diverse plenaries benefited enormously from the unique perspectives and experiences of all generations. From older activists whose work paved the way for the progressive ICPD program of action, and now from young people with a fresh perspective, with their knowledge, their energy, their creativity, guided by principles of human rights, social justice, and radical inclusivity. We also expanded our alliances beyond just the traditional SRHR communities. We forged powerful connections with new allies, activist communities, focused on climate action, on peace building, racial justice, disability activism, and on rectifying economic inequality. Yes, you've challenged us. You have challenged us to look beyond the antiquated ideas of the past and to look forward to creating new narratives and new examples of ethical and transformative leadership. And that's the kind of leadership that the world needs and which you, the younger generation, will commit to and what you deserve. We listened when one of you said, youth don't have the luxury to not be hopeful. What gives me hope is your powerful expression of solidarity with young people facing danger, facing hostility, facing sad times around the world. And I want you to know from the bottom of my heart how proud I am that you are willing to stand up for our shared humanity and our absolute fundamental human rights. The drummers have set the tone for this closing. And as we leave here, let us keep that drumbeat going. The drumbeat for rights, for choices, for dignity, for bodily autonomy, for gender equality, and for peace, peace on the planet. I assure you that your recommendations today and your prescriptions are going to inform the success of the Summit of the Future taking place in New York in September in conjunction with the General Assembly. As it is said, with the wisdom of the youth, with the wisdom of the elders, that is how Ife was built. With the wisdom of the youth, with the wisdom of the elders, that is how you construct a society. And I find that in this ancient proverb, it is the wisdom of the youth that gets precedence over the wisdom of the elders. So let us learn from that. I believe it was an excellent decision to kick off our year-long ICPD celebrations with young people right here in Cotonou in Benin. You have indeed set the stage for the next global dialogues upcoming on demographic diversity and on technology and artificial intelligence, and for the many events yet to come where young people must attend and lend their perspectives for the success of these dialogues coming up. Look, we're 8 billion plus, and you're nearly 2 billion. So use your influence, use your total smarts and intelligence to make sure that that influence stands on the side of rights and choices. The movement for sexual and reproductive health and rights does need champions. it needs protection. It takes data. It takes data to know who is being left behind and to know where do you want to go next. And hopefully that way is forward. No turning back. We really cannot wait another 30 years to fulfill the promise of Cairo. So I do hope that you have enjoyed making new connections here in Cotonou and that you'll stay connected, that you'll continue to share ideas and to learn from one another. And please stay connected to UNFPA. That's how we will build a strong, broad global movement that will advance rights and choices for all by doing that together. And above all, look after yourselves, keep connecting your hearts and minds, keep expressing yourself and your ideas, because when you do, there's no telling how far you'll go in the next 30 years. Adelante, forward. Thank you so much.
Distingués invités, mesdames et messieurs, je voudrais à présent inviter Monsieur Amadou Yakoubou, directeur adjoint du cabinet du ministre d'État, ministre du Développement et de la Coordination de l'action gouvernementale, à prendre la parole pour procéder à la clôture des travaux du premier dialogue mondial des jeunes.
Merci beaucoup. Excellences, chers jeunes, mesdames, messieurs, je prends au pied levé le remplacement et la lourde responsabilité de porter la voix du ministre d'État retenu par une urgence de dernière minute et je vais donc ouvrir grandement les guillemets et lire in extenso son propos. Madame la directrice exécutive du Fonds des Nations Unies pour la population, Monsieur le ministre de l'Information et de l'Éducation civique du Sierra Leone, Messieurs les représentants des co-chairs Pays-Bas et Danemark, Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs les ambassadeurs et membres du corps diplomatique au Bénin, Mesdames et Messieurs les représentants du secteur privé, de la société civile, chers jeunes, distingués invités, Mesdames et Messieurs. Nous voici au terme des travaux du premier dialogue mondial des 30 ans de la mise en œuvre du programme d'action de la Conférence internationale sur la population et le développement, ICPD30. Sous le thème « La vision de la nouvelle génération des jeunes sur la population et le développement ». Je veux renouveler à chacun de vous ma gratitude pour votre temps, votre engagement et votre implication durant ces 2 jours. Chers jeunes, pendant ces 2 jours, nous avons échangé autour de cette thématique d'importance en vue de faire émerger des idées qui concourent à l'édification d'une meilleure société. Une société prospère, inclusive, juste et équitable, où les femmes, les hommes et les personnes vulnérables, surtout ceux de la jeune génération, accèdent à un véritable mieux-être et jouissent pleinement de leurs droits. Les conclusions présentées rassurent de la qualité des échanges et illustrent aussi la passion et le grand intérêt que chacun de vous a manifesté autour des différents sujets. Je ne ferai pas un long discours. Je pourrais me contenter en guise de réponse à m'associer à ce que disait la directrice exécutive tout à l'heure et dire qu'on vous a entendu, qu'on vous a compris. Vos commentaires et recommandations seront relayés dans tous les dialogues et réunions ultérieures. Je serai moi-même, je rappelle que c'est le ministre d'État qui parle, je serai moi-même à la 57e commission de la population et du développement à New York et je l'ai promis à la directrice exécutive et je me ferai aussi le devoir d'être l'ambassadeur de votre débat. Je vous en fais la promesse. Chers jeunes, au regard des résultats satisfaisants obtenus, je reste convaincu que ce premier dialogue mondial préfigure chez la jeune génération le renforcement de la confiance en soi, le patriotisme, l'espérance et la foi que nous pouvons y arriver avec de l'exigence, de la volonté et de l'engagement. Nous devons envisager souvent ce genre d'échange avec vous. Vous avez la fougue de la jeunesse, le courage de l'innovation, le risque de l'ambition, et ça, dans les fonctions qui sont les miennes, parfois, on en a besoin pour agir. C'est le lieu pour moi de remercier tous les acteurs qui ont contribué à l'organisation réussie de ce dialogue. Je veux particulièrement dire ma gratitude aux co-organisateurs de ce premier dialogue mondial, le Danemark, les Pays-Bas et l'UNFPA. Ça a été un court processus de préparation, mais jalonné de beaucoup de moments agréables et d'expériences acquises. Le Bénin, mon pays, s'honore d'avoir reçu ce premier dialogue. Le président de la République, son Excellence, M. Patrice Talon, me charge de vous dire que le Bénin a été heureux de vous avoir tous ici cette semaine et offre encore sa disponibilité pour d'autres expériences et d'autres événements. Avant de conclure mon propos, je veux vous inviter, pendant les heures qui nous séparent de votre départ, à trouver un moment pour visiter les attraits touristiques de ce beau pays. Hier, certains parmi vous ont pu apprécier la culture du Bénin à travers les danses de nos différentes régions. Vous avez une foire sur l'esplanade de l'Amazone. Le marché des objets d'art se trouve à Bégamin, c'est à 15 minutes de marche d'ici. Porte-Novo, Ouida et Granvier sont environ à 1 heure. Et pour ceux qui ont encore un peu de temps, à Bomé, la ville historique se trouve à 2 heures d'ici. Tout en nourrissant l'espoir que les prochains dialogues mondiaux connaîtront plus de succès, je déclare clos les travaux du premier dialogue mondial de la CIPD30, ce jour 5 avril 2024. Vive la coopération internationale au service du développement. Vive le Bénin. Je vous remercie.
Mesdames et messieurs, nous sommes arrivés au terme du premier dialogue mondial de la jeunesse que le peuple et le gouvernement béninois vous remercient d'avoir honoré de votre présence. Au-delà de votre intérêt pour la problématique de la question des jeunes, votre présence massive à Cotonou témoigne de votre amitié, de votre fraternité à l'égard du peuple béninois. En vous souhaitant un bon retour dans vos pays respectifs, je voudrais vous prier de bien vouloir vous lever pour saluer le retrait des officiels ici présents. Merci.
Hold on, I want you.